Welcome to Moscow.
Hey everybody.
First day of trip.
We are completely exhausted.
We didn't sleep at all. There's lots of stories to tell. We arrived in the morning, starting out the day. There's the three of us now. First time. It was pretty much of a challenge to find a hostel. Nobody speaks English in this country. It was a very intense story. When we arrived, the train tickets were not there.
So yesterday, at what hour we departed, I don't remember. Night, yeah. Because our plane had a delay.
Yeah.
But before that, like at 4 p.m., people from Real Russia, the company that arranged our tickets, they phoned me from London and they said, why haven't you already purchased your tickets?
Because the office is not working on weekends.
Yeah. But we only arrive on Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's normal. But the office is closed on the weekend and you are going away to Irkutsk on Sunday, so
there's no way for you to get back the tickets. So you send a message to the hostel, right?
please tell me possible solutions. And they said, well, maybe we can send the tickets to your hostel.
To the hostel, yeah.
Okay.
So we phoned the hostel, we told them they will receive a package from Real Russia, and they say, fine, cool. And in Real Russia they guaranteed us the tickets would arrive at the hotel.
So we focused on our trip.
We focused on our trip, you know, goodbyes, all that. Some people get nervous and get emotional and all that. Other people just puke their brains out.
So today we arrived in our hostel, and the first thing
they tell us
is, tickets did not arrive, my friend.
Your tickets did not arrive. And this was at like 9 a.m.
Yes.
So it's like 5 a.m. in the UK. Nobody's there. We had to wait, we had to call them in the emergency line. This dude from the support or whatever just picked up the phone.
I think he was sleeping because
he might be sleeping, yeah. So then told the guy to call his associate in Moscow, who talked very fast.
Yeah.
It was very hard not to laugh. And then he finally sent the courier to give us the tickets. In the meantime, we fell asleep in the hostel, but we finally got our tickets.
Yeah.
So we are ready. And tomorrow we are going to the train station around midnight.
Trans-Siberian, here I go! And of course,
to start the trans-Siberian route.
Moscow, the most populous city and capital of the Russian Federation, the largest city in the European continent, also amongst the 10 most expensive cities in the world. Surprisingly to some, Moscow is also one of the greenest cities in the world, with 40% of its area being covered with gardens and green spaces. Founded in 1147, Moscow is home of the Kremlin, the seat of Russian power, as well as several other UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Its population is of around 12 million, being amongst the 10 most populous cities in the world. The Orthodox Church is the predominant religion, being followed by around 53% of the population.
We are now heading to the Red Square complex. Stuff is happening, huh? You mind telling us what happened?
I've separated from the group on the second day. Good. I entered the subway, the door just closed behind me.
Awesome.
And I went alone.
Yeah, but we knew where the station was, so there was no problem. Oh, what about the nightmare guy? It was 4 a.m.
4 a.m. in our shared bedroom. It was like 14 beds. At 4 a.m. a scream. A guy like dying. I guess it was dreaming or something.
Yeah, he started screaming higher and higher. Yeah, this guy was having a huge nightmare, so we woke the whole dormitory up. Okay, there's cops there. I'm gonna turn this off. We just went out of the station and a few cops were checking the passports of some Chinese tourists. And yeah, we know what happens when police officers approach you to ask for your passports. Usually the story doesn't end well. The story usually starts up with them asking your passports, and then you give them the passports and they ask you for a ton of money, like 1,000 euros or something. If you don't have the money, you go to jail.
That's not very good.
It's a hell of a problem to get out.
They just don't give you the passport back.
Hey guys, so we are on the line for the Red Square, as you can see. it's a little bit difficult to get in.
Yeah, and the bad news is that Lenin is inside Lenin's tomb, the mausoleum, but it closes at 1 p.m. so we won't have time to see him. So we will see the rest.
To enter the walls, we are already bought the tickets. Marta, do you want to explain the line?
We bought the tickets to see the basilics and
Cathedral.
the cathedral, and we paid 350 rubles, which is like
Around 10 euros, 8 euros.
yes. Well, we just hope to get to see everything because most things have timetables.
And there's the cathedral right there. Pretty small, but we will see it from a better angle really soon.
The central square of Moscow. Most people think that red square comes from the color of the buildings or from the link between the color and communism. Actually, the name comes from neither of those reasons, but from the name of a small area between St. Basil's Church and the Spassky Tower, called Krasnaya, which means red in Russian. The red square was the place where several historic ceremonies were held, as well as the main marketplace of Moscow. In one of the flanks of the square lies Lenin's mausoleum. Inside, tourists can see the actual mummified body of Vladimir Lenin, the Marxist revolutionary who led the Soviet Union from 1922 to 1924, when he died of a blood vessel disease. His body has been on display since 1930.
Hello, we are finally in front of the St. Basil's Church, one of the ex-libris of the Moscow, and it was built in the 16th century by Ivan the Great, or Ivan the Terrible. Now it's a museum, and we hope to get to see it.
Yeah, because right now the red square is closed because we don't know if there is some exercise taking place, but the police have instructions not to open this for like 1 hour. And in the meantime, we're gonna check out the museums inside the Kremlin walls. The entrance to the Kremlin. You wanna come here? You pick up Metro Line 1. You remember the name of the station?
No, I think it's Bibliotheca Lenina.
That's it. Lenin Library. We are not sure about the name of the station. We are sure that it's line 1. So now we're going in. This is what we believe to be the residence of the president. We know it's somewhere inside the Kremlin walls, which is where we are right now. Any words?
Paid to enter here, let's see if it's worth it.
Actually, one thing we realized is that one thing that is actually pretty stupid is you have to pay one ticket to visit the Cathedral Square, which is where we are heading. Then you have to buy another ticket to go to the armory. And the ticket it's considerably expensive, 700 rubles. And you have to buy the ticket 15 minutes before the next visit, which is around every 2 hours.
Is the armory worth it? Put in the comments now.
I saw the St. Basil's, it's enough for me.
Yeah. Very beautiful.
Very beautiful, yeah. That cathedral you must see. But we believe some stuff inside this place is really worth checking out as well. Let's confirm it.
Hello. We are at the Cathedral Square. This is the Archangel Cathedral. It's a burial vault for great princesses. That one is the Assumption Cathedral, where the Khazars were crowned. This is the Annunciation Cathedral. It was the home church for most Moscow great princesses. The last two are from the 15th century, and the Archangel is from the 16th.
And this one is the Ivan's Cathedral.
Finally in the Red Square. It's much bigger than I thought. So you have the Gum, Mausoleum of Lenin.
At least we got a chance to see it from the outside. And here, from even a more awesome angle, we have St. Basil's Cathedral. This is Moscow if you are only planning on to staying here for one day, or if you have little time, this is the place where you want to go.
Built in the reign of Ivan the Terrible to celebrate the capture of Kazan from the forces of the Mongol Empire in 1552, the St. Basil's Cathedral was completed in 1560. Legends tell that Ivan blinded the builders of this majestic landmark so that they could never again build anything that would compete with it. During Soviet times, there were talks about demolishing the cathedral, mainly because it would restrict the space in the Red Square for Stalin's grand parades. It was saved, thanks to the bravery of architect Pyotr Baranovsky, who spoke out very bluntly against the demolition, refusing the order from the Kremlin to demolish it in a very bold way. The cathedral was saved, but not without Pyotr spending 5 years in prison. The cathedral is open from 11 to 17. It closes on Tuesdays and the entry ticket costs 250 rubles for adults.
So this is our line, train 44. We are now boarding to Irkutsk in Siberia.
Here we go.
88 hours, around 60 stations, something like that. Let's do this. Our home for the next 4 days. Yeah. How do you feel?
You're very excited.
This is like a unique sensation. How do you feel, dude?
I think the smile on my face says it all.
Oh yeah. And the mystery guest is right here.
Maybe it doesn't exist.
Or not yet.
Or not yet.
We are leaving.
Yes, we are, my friend.
Leaving Moscow behind into Siberia.
It starts.
The longest train route in the world. And we are on it.